Happy New Year. Now, if you're anything like me, then this is the time of the year where you look back in the past 12 months, you think about what went right, what went badly, and you start to come up with a plan of what you want to do in the next 12 months. Now, because I haven't given a channel update for a while, I thought I'd give you a more behind the scenes look of what's going on, especially in my head, and we're going to think about what you can expect to see in the channel moving forward. So if that floats your boat, this is going to be much more of an informal video. Because it's the holiday season, the editing is going to be slightly different than normal. However, if you are a fan of this channel, then there will be some interesting bits and bob in the next 10 minutes. So if I just focus on my career first, I think there's two big things that happened to me in 2023, which I'm feeling pretty happy about. Now, the first one is that this year I finally became an Umbraco MVP for the first time ever. I've been writing about Umbraco for about 7 years, and this is the first time that I've actually been nominated and awarded for an Umbraco MVP. And you can see my entry in the Hall of Fame right here. And the other big career achievement I've been pretty happy about this year happened at my day job. So just in case you weren't aware, my day job is not making YouTube videos. I actually work for a company called Optimizely, and I work in the technical sales department. Now, my job is mainly working on experimentation and informing customers why web experimentation can help their business. And this year, Google had a tool called Optimize, and they sunset it. So this year for work, it's been mental. However, it's been pretty exciting. So just in terms of the deals I've worked on around £4.5 million worth of new business, and this is more than anyone else in the whole of Europe. So currently I'm the top SA for 2023, and considering I've only been doing this type of work for 2 years, I think that's something to be pretty proud about. Now, just in terms of this channel, I think there's a lot I should feel proud of. Now, just in terms of total views, you can see I've got 171,900. There's a few days left, so let's just call it 172,000, and that's 73% more than in 2022. Now, that equates to over 10,000 hours of people watching this channel, which is pretty amazing, and that's 44% growth over 2022. And just in terms of the subscribers, I've got 1.5 additional subscribers this year, and that's 50% more than 2022. Now, YouTube wasn't the only area that I saw growth. In case you weren't aware, I also have a website, johndjones.com, and this website's been going for about 10 years now, and in 2022 I actually hit a really big goal of reaching 1 million unique people. And this year I saw good growth for my website. So these are the analytics for 2022, and you can see here that I was roughly getting somewhere between 15 and 20,000 people all year. Now, if I jump over to 2023, you can see by comparing this little graph here that I went from an average of around 15 to 17,000 to around 23 to 30,000 in 2023. Well, at least up to June. And then the final thing that I want to mention, because it will play into some of the points later on, is that I managed to hit all my content creation targets this year. So at the beginning of the year, I created a video about best resources for developers, and in it I said that I wanted to create 52 videos on this channel. I wanted to release 52 newsletters every single Sunday all year, and I also wanted to create 52 articles on my website, and I managed to do that. And then my final content creation goal was to release a brand new book, which I did with Contentful: The Missing Manual, a book on how to build a website using Contentful CMS that you can purchase right now at leanpub.com. Description in the link below. Now, by far the biggest source of frustration I've had with creating content this year has been around Google changing the algorithm. And they basically changed YouTube and Google, and it's really impacted me. Now, I'm not the only person moaning about these types of changes. On the screen, you can see a video from a channel called Random Frank P. So he's got over 1 million followers, and he's been impacted in the same way. Now, the original motivation for me creating my website was pretty simple. At the time, there was a bunch of useless information on topics I found interesting, so I tried to write easy to follow tutorials that covered everything you need to do in order to implement something. And that was basically what I wanted to do with this channel. And the problem is, I've got a bunch of different interests. So I like .NET, I like Next.js, I like hosting stuff, I like experimentation. And the problem with creating a channel that has a bunch of different topics is that the YouTube algorithm really doesn't like it. And what will happen, it kind of makes sense, is that say 1 week I do a video on .NET, the next week I do a video on Next.js, and the next week I do a video on Svelte. Now, unless you're really interested in development, it's likely you're not going to watch all of those videos. And if you don't do that, what will happen is that I won't get recommended on your homepage, and you'll only be able to find my new videos if you go to your subscribers view. Now, this is a big challenge for trying to grow a channel. And this is the reason why most of the people that you follow, most of the recommendations on your YouTube will be based on channels that have a very specific niche. So if you use YouTube a lot, you've probably noticed this on your own feed. So when you go down your subscriptions, you'll likely bump into channels that you haven't watched for ages and you've forgotten that you subscribe to. So a good example of this is this TechSource video here. Now during COVID, when I was setting up my office, I watched a bunch of these setup videos and I really actually like this TechSource channel. Now, I basically got to a stage during summer after I built my office, I stopped watching them because I was more interested in music videos, festivals, that kind of stuff. And what happened is that TechSource is completely dropped off my homepage now, and I basically don't watch any of these videos, even though I'd probably like to watch a handful of them. So for me as a content creator, this creates a bit of a problem, because unless I'm creating a video on a very similar topic and you're interested in watching all of those videos, what will happen is eventually I'll come off your homepage, I won't be in your recommendations, and the only way that you'll be able to find my new content updates is by religiously going to subscriptions and browsing for it every couple of days. And then the final thing I just wanted to point out is around how much I actually make from this channel. So if you look at 2022, you can see I made about $600. And as we've established, this channel has grown pretty successfully this year. However, if you look at estimated revenue, I've only made about $480 this year, which is about $120 less. So that covered YouTube. However, Google also updated Google search, and this has also penalized smaller websites. So let's say I do a search now for Umbraco create a page. Now, at the beginning of the year, I would basically appear in the top 3 to 4 results. However, let's see how things changed. So first off, we've now got 3 sponsors that we have to scroll through until we get to some content. 4 sponsors even. Now, if we look at the results being returned, you can see here we've got Umbraco.com, Umbraco.com, and then this is Umbraco.com. Then we've got some videos on YouTube, then we've got Umbraco.com, we've got a blog here, then Umbraco.com, Umbraco.com, Umbraco.com. We've got some images, we've got a related search. If we scroll down, now we've got some more sponsors, more sponsors, more sponsors, and then finally we've actually got to a stage where we've got another blog, then Umbraco.com, YouTube video, and eventually you can see we've got my website, which comes way down here. Now, let's be real with each other here. No one is ever finding that page unless they really want to find it. And this is the reason why at the start of the year, even though I had the most successful year ever with 25 to 30,000 viewers per month, now I'm seeing about 10 to 11,000 viewers per month. So it's less than half. And this is a big problem because Google is now favoring these bigger websites. And then on top of this, we also have ChatGPT. So now it's much easier to ask ChatGPT, which I personally find myself doing because I found it much harder to find the information I want on Google because of this update. So now that you have some appreciation around the good and bad things that have happened to me this year, we can talk about 2024 and the future of this channel. It also means I can ask you some questions and get some feedback. So the first thing I want to talk about is the type of content you can expect to see from this channel. I'm going to break it down into the short term and long term. So in the short term, I've got a few mini series planned. So I expect to see a series on Umbraco 13. I've got a bunch of ideas for Optimizely. So I expect some Optimizely CMS experimentation stuff. There's also going to be a bunch of stuff around productivity. So setting up some developer tools like AutoHotkey and a few other bits and bobs. Now, for the more long term, I need to make a decision on the direction of this channel. Because as mentioned, just doing a bunch of random technical tutorials on things I find interesting goes against the YouTube algorithm, and I think it really is going to prevent me growing the way I need to. Now, this leads me to the bigger dilemma of what should this channel be about? Now, if you see my channel, if you see my website, everyone knows that I like Umbraco, Optimizely, there's things around experimentation. Now, the issue with just focusing on one of those as a niche is that if you look at the number of subscribers on the other channels, they're all around 5,000–10,000. We don't have any 100,000–200,000 channels focusing just on those topics. Now, I could focus on .NET because there are some really successful .NET YouTubers. However, if I'm honest, I'm in two minds because one, does the world need just another .NET channel? And is there enough content there for me to create interesting videos every single week? So I guess they're the two viable options I can take to grow this channel if I just focus on programming. However, I guess there's also the alternative of that is keep the channel as is and just do random and Umbraco Optimizely and tech tutorials when I feel like it ad hoc. Now, what I could do in parallel is start up a new channel and focus on a niche which has got a bigger kind of audience. So I've got more interest in just programming. So this could be things like game hunting, retro, stock market picking, finance, all that kind of good stuff. And again, they're oversaturated markets, but you generally find more people in that niche and it's easier to scale those channels compared to kind of something on random programming topics. So now you know the options. I am really interested of what people think. So leave comments below around what direction you think I should go, or if you've got any feedback in general, so it will help me out. Now, the second point I need to focus on in 2024 is deciding on my content release schedule. Because if I'm honest, creating a video every single week probably isn't realistic. So as mentioned, I've got a full-time job. I am a dad, I do have a kid, and I also have a bunch of other responsibilities to do. And the issue with creating a video every week is burnout. You see a bunch of really famous YouTubers talk about burnout all the time, and they do it for a full-time job. Now, for me, probably the biggest issue is, let's say you go on holiday for 2 weeks, you get 2 videos behind, and now you have to create 2 or 3 videos in a week. And trying to catch up on videos when you're away on holiday is a complete nightmare. Sometimes it takes me 6 to 7 weeks to get back on track. And in that time, all I can do is focus on creating videos, research, and it's a bit too much. Now, I think the direction that I'll probably go on is based upon a channel by Ethan Page, who does like toy hunting videos. And basically he split his channel into like seasons. So potentially I might do season 1 and it might finish around June time, come back around August time, that hits season 2 and so on and so on. So there's basically 3 points that I like about this approach. So the first one is that you get that extended time off from creating videos, which should hopefully prevent burnout and give me a bit of time to rejuvenate, go on holiday without stress. The second thing is that it should allow me to work on different projects. So let's say that I want to create another book. This should give me a good amount of time to work on something else. Now, the third thing is it should hopefully allow me to improve my video editing skills, because I'll probably treat each season as different directions. So we'd have different kind of sound clips, we'd have different animations, we might have different editing styles, and this could force me into creating better content. Now, the alternative option is just commit to say doing 2 videos a month or maybe 3 videos a month. And I kind of like this idea as well because you're always making momentum. So again, let me know in the comments below. This is definitely something I need to decide on a direction in 2024. But yeah, as I said, I'm torn between either having the season approach or having 2 or 3 videos a month approach. And then the final commitment that I make to you is I'm going to continue making better quality videos. So hopefully if you go back over the last 3 years, you'll notice that each and every year the production quality gets better. So I've got better cameras, better lighting, hopefully the sound's a lot better now. And I want to continue to keep that going. So in 2024, again, I want to continue to learn how to improve, how to use Final Cut Pro. I want to have a better library of transitions, text effects, all that kind of stuff which goes into making good videos. So at the moment, until I recoup a little bit more money that I put into this channel, I'm a bit reluctant to invest more money in, say, like lav mics, which meant I could do interviews. Now, aside from just getting a boatload of new subscribers to jump my monthly earnings on YouTube, the only other way that I can think about generating revenue for me to continue to buy new equipment is to start a Patreon. Now, I know a bunch of other channels do Patreon. I haven't really seen any tech-focused Patreon channels though. So I'm really interested in, would you sign up for a Patreon if it was say $5 a month? And if I was going to create a Patreon, what sort of things would entice you into signing up? So would it be free ebooks? Would it just be access to the 2 weeks of video that I have planned and recorded? Or is it something else? And this is definitely an area where I could do with some feedback on. So let me know, would you sign up for a Patreon and what would tempt you into paying for one? So I guess that leads us to my last point. And that's the only reason why this channel exists. The only reason why I put so much effort creating videos on a weekly basis is because of you watching it. And I appreciate that, you know, this is New Year's Day. Not that many people are going to watch this video. However, for the people that do, the long-term subscribers, it's your support that keeps me going through all of it. And I've had a great journey learning how to create videos, how to talk about technology better. There's been a bunch of great stuff. Hopefully we're going to continue this moving forward. We're definitely going to have a bunch of videos in 2024. There's no end in sight. However, I do think the channel needs to change a little bit more if I want to get the growth I really want. So I guess the takeaway is that I just want to say thank you. So regardless if you've watched one of my YouTube videos, you've read an article on my website, you subscribed to the newsletter, you've left a comment, you've contacted me through my website, or more importantly, you bought a book from me and you've given me a little bit of money, I just want to say thanks, because without those actions, I wouldn't be carrying on with this channel. It would have got to 2024 and I would have given up and moved on and done something different. However, it's that love which has kept this channel going. So I want to say, I hope you have a banger of a 2024. Now, if you've got any career goals, any aspirations whatsoever around technology, career, let me know in the comment section below, because one, it can help me create videos, and two, I just want to know what people who watch this channel are up to, because it really interests me. So again, hope you have a banger, and until next video, happy coding. So I guess they're the two viable options I can take to grow this channel if I just focus on programming. However, I guess there's also the alternative of that is keep the channel as is and just do random and Umbraco Optimizely and tech tutorials when I feel like it, ad hoc. Now, what I could do in parallel is start up a new channel and focus on a niche which has got a bigger kind of audience. So I've got more interest in just programming. So this could be things like game hunting, retro, stock market picking, finance, all that kind of good stuff. And again, they're oversaturated markets, but you generally find more people in that niche, and it's easier to scale those channels compared to kind of something on random programming topics. So again, interested to hear everyone's thought, because